and worthy right now. Give them everything you've got, Orgless and Fnatic, for the big W, the title of the Six Masters champion.
That's it, one map, and that is all we have to decide who's coming out on top. And the fact of the matter is, Orgless look really good on map 1. Not so much on map 2.
This is the biggest ANZ LAN event we've ever had. And this is the biggest prize pool we've ever had. And these are the two biggest teams, the two best teams that we've ever had. So I don't think we could have asked for a better grand final, going all the distance to 3 maps. Now let's talk operator bans, because I've already seen some stuff that I like. The Thermite and Monty are both operators that aren't banned that much, but are incredibly useful on Cafe. So seeing Fnatic get rid of the Montaigne, it's I'm not too surprised. It's a nice way to really brute force your way down White Hallway or into pretty much any other spot on this map. Yeah. But banning the Vigil, wow, whoa. Okay. Thermite Vigil for Orgless. So we talked about prep. We talked about how Orgless, they all the prep, everything that they've had, all that informational and their two support staff behind them, the coach and the analyst Flux and Silex, they bring so much like research, counter-stratting.
Yes.
And Vigil and Thermite, the Thermite for one, right? It's got something it's always there, right? You always have it, you always take it for granted. And with Thermite banned, it's going to slightly change the interactions with Hibana. One of my theories was going to be about the Cade. Are they going to cease click a Cade? Because that helps my theory.
Yep.
No. Oh, well, never mind. So I was going to say, one thing you can do with Thermite ban is it's much easier to Cade trick walls if they're trying to use Hibanas to open them up. But never mind, because they're not going to pick the Cade. So maybe later we'll see that. But I guess I'm keen to see how it plays out. Of course, when Fnatic are in their defense, we'll get to see how the Vigil pick affects them. But anyhow, we're getting into it.
Yeah, straight into it, mate. And this is, I mean, we've pretty much got the ideal situation, as you were saying before. You know, these are the teams at the very start, when we started day one on Friday. We literally saw them on opposite ends of the bracket. And we knew for a fact, well, not so much for a fact, we wanted both of these teams here. And to be honest, now that we're into a third map, it is the best way to decide it. And like I was saying to Matt, you know, commented on it very early on, the only way to decide these things is by going the full distance. Not only does it show stamina, it also shows the depth of your map pool. It shows a lot of things, actually, when you come down to these grand finals. The pressure, the crowd as well that starts to mount up. And not only that, your composure is so important at moments like this.
We know both of these teams have gone the full distance so far in the series. Both of their semi-finals went 3 maps. Both of them, oh sorry, not Fnatic, but both of their matches so far, right? Fnatic had Oddity, like that was kind of their semi-final, right? That was their harder game.
Yep.
No offense, Fury. But it's just the truth. Orgless really did struggle against Mindfreak. Fnatic really did struggle against Oddity. So they both have that experience of going that full distance on LAN just yesterday or today in Orgless's case. And now that we're getting into map 3, it's really going to come down to every single kill, every single trade, every single call out from these players is going to mean everything for this championship.
Now after the start that Orgless had in that second map, the finish that they had more, actually that's probably the better point to make, is the finish that they had.
Yeah.
Is that going to carry across? Is a Fnatic going to be feeling very confident coming into this, or Orgless going to be feeling a little bit down and sorry for themselves? Well, I'll tell you one thing, they don't have a choice. They do have to double down. There is only one map left in this entire tournament. 10 weeks of gameplay plus this. It's been a long haul, but still for now, Fnatic, they are on the attack and they will be opening up into Piano. They do have a little bit of sight, a little bit of vision for Lusty to...
Yep, information gathering. Neo's got a drone in there as well. Wait. Okay, sorry, I thought that was attackers for a sec. You know, white stairs. Good white stairs control. Still some pressure looking into Piano here for Emo. Got this beautiful deployable shield. A lot of contests elsewhere as well. Orgless is so mobile on this defense. Fnatic are just playing it slowly. 2 minutes have elapsed so far. They have Piano control, but they don't have much else. They've been going downstairs trying to flush out any Orgless players roaming down there. But the real focus on this site is going to be that east side top floor, that cocktail bar area, and the white stairs. That's where Orgless will be holding on to for this defense. That's one yokai down. That's a big pick here for the information gathering of Orgless. And Fnatic look poised for their execute.
no one really off the board yet. This is going to come to crunch time. 5v5. Diesel's still sitting pretty. Does have the rotate. Lusty opening up on toward Derp, though. That is the echo down of Vital denying that bomb plant, but we'll have to wait and see. Here comes the C4. It's going to be Neo Fighter to take down Lusty first off. It is going to be the push coming in, but Neo's still stepping up strong. He eventually goes down to Specca, but it's Ethan and Diesel, the last two that remain on the defense side. They're still making their money's worth. He's not sure where he's getting shot from. It's going to be stuck, but he's played it perfectly. Unbelievable from Ethan to wait for that timing to deny the diffuser going down. What a rounds.
What patience on the trigger figure for Ethan as well. He didn't want to kill that diffuser plant because it would have told the other Fnatic player his position and they would have been able to get a quick refrag. Amazing stuff. Fantastic performance so far from both of these teams. Rob, if that's anything to go by, I can't wait for the rest of this map because it is absolutely neck and neck between Fnatic and Auglis here.
Whew, that's a banger. We start off in that fashion because now we do set that time. We do set that pace. There's 30 seconds left. A 5v5 with 30 seconds and the crunch comes in. You have to love it, but you can already see Auglis straight back into game faces, straight back into that relaxed kind of version that we see most times. It's when that really starts to heat up that's when those diamonds are made, my friend.
You're right, you are, Rob. Good top floor defense for Auglis. Can't discredit how close Fnatic got though. Did have the numbers advantage. One off of the clutch, and that's not something you can count on. Derp trying to make a hole to peek through, I guess? No. Yeah, maybe. Anyhow, it's Auglis going to Library next in Fireplace, reading Fireplace. Newest bomb site on the map. It's funny, some teams really like that kitchen. Some teams hate defending that kitchen bomb site. We really see with this new cafe rework, not too new now, but been out for a little while, we really see different teams favor different positions, different bomb sites. That top floor is usually the favorite, but there's a lot of, if you're an attacker, right, you don't know where you're going to be facing, so you've got to pick that versatile lineup. That's exactly what Fnatic are doing. A lot of good roam clearing, a lot of good soft breach, hard breach, gadgetry denial, flank watching the Nomad.
It's definitely a good staple to have. Obviously, the top floor, it's something you can always lean back onto, secure a certain amount of rounds. But Ethan on that pulse. Now, this is something we have seen quite often when we head down on either that bottom floor in kitchen or either at reading. Generally taking that pulse to ensure that those top floors aren't really being consumed too much, but that is Ethan off the board. That's just defeats the purpose of my conversation.
It's a lot of information gathering gone. Ethan with the pulse. You can see Auglis are playing quite aggressive. Neophyte is waiting for repel on that east side, but Fnatic's not going to give him anything. Take control of the top floor from the west side. Very default stuff here from Fnatic so far. Just nice and thorough. Half the round gone. Rizraz and Specus 11 taking that top floor, so not amazing time management, but still I wouldn't be too worried just yet. Virtue and Derp still on the top floor, ready to receive these Fnatic players. Neofighter as well to back up. So Fnatic can't simply walk down White Hallway. They can't guarantee that they're just going to win these gunfights. There needs to be something to make this happen. It's going to be the gradual take of the bathroom and, of course, the freezer to move through. Start getting new angles up onto the cocktail bar, but Magnet elsewhere. Getting Diesel. Is that on the side?
Oh
Magnet
my god, that's not exactly what you want to be seeing, Dev.
It's all the way inside of train room. A perfect avenue onto the bomb site, and from there on, Fnatic collapsed. A flawless round.
Was that a quad kill for Magnet in the end there? 3K or a 4K?
3K, I think. But flawless for the team. Look at Magnet. He's so confused. Doesn't know what happened. I think he's saying he just dropped the hatch and killed Diesel. He's very confused. But, hey, Fnatic, not doing too badly. Back in the game, they have that level of relaxation, right? They're not on edge. And I think that not taking this too seriously is helping them out, right?
Definitely. Kind of, it relaxes everything about your play style, you know. You're not so uptight when you do lose those rounds, but when you win them, it is a little bit nicer. There's a sweet satisfaction about it. So Rizraz onto the Ash off of the Thatcher. So bit of extra firepower to come in.
Soft breach too. Got lots of soft breach here for Fnatic. So much soft breach. Like, attacking this kitchen. Opening up the floor is what you usually do. Take control of the top floor, or middle floor as well. Use your shotgun and the any other soft breach that you have to open up that floor and flush out players on site. Works pretty well. So I don't know. I feel like there's more to the story of picking Ash than just for that purpose. I feel like it's probably partially just a comfort pick. Hey, we want Rizraz to be able to go in there. Now, this is a map where you really fortify certain positions, and if you want to play that utility game, slowly but surely creep up, it can be difficult. Sometimes you need something a little bit more explosive. And getting a player onto a comfort pick really helps with that. Imarin's going for a spawn pick. Fnatic are playing a bit slow though. Imarin mistimes that one.
That could have been devastating to start out straight off the bat for Fnatic, but fortunately enough, like you said, timing does not favour him in that situation. Fnatic will have the breathe up, but Thorgless down in kitchen. Not happy to reattempt that second floor bomb site, that's for damn sure.
Fnatic are playing nicely safe, patient. Disabling these castle barricades, that Specker with the breaching charges. Already gotten rid of two of them.
That's the problem,
Caring
isn't it?
for Augus's aggression as well. On that bakery side, Diesel was trying to play nice and close up. Aggressive on Cupcake, but flashing him out. Two players actually aggressive here. Fnatic is starting to read into this aggression though.
We were saying one of the conditions was the fact that August would have to be pretty easy going with that sort of aggression. That's what we were talking about in the analysis. Now, no fighter just waiting for that first contact in the main door, but he's been able to get away scot-free for now. That's a really nice play. Unfortunately, Ethan can't capitalize. Rizraz with two, and Specker shutting them down. Imarin, the last to remain. You blink, you miss it, and all of a sudden that would take some nasty flicks to make it work, but Fnatic are looking just so comfortable. The smiles, everything.
So I guess that was the purpose of the Ash. Rizraz, go ahead and start shooting people.
Yep, that's the way to do it.
So a bit of gradual and safe play, smart play by Fnatic. Slowly but surely counter that utility, get rid of those castle barricades, establish some control, but then also just run in there and start shooting people. And I think combining those two things together really does take August a bit by surprise, right? August did have the Yokai drone over on that, like that dining room side, ready for to enable roamers and other players to flank and push on to the Fnatic guys who were pushing from that side. But it was that explosive moment for Fnatic that really helped them out.
So can August now buck the trend as we go back to Cocktail upstairs. And even then, I mean, all right, before I touch on anything else, the scoreboard right now is not looking pretty at all for August. And to be honest, I think that really does represent how these past 3 rounds have gone. It looks close because it's 1-2, but so far, that round that August won was on the back of a 1v2 from Ethan, just playing time perfectly and dropping down the diffuser. So I don't think that that scoreline is very representative. Rather, the scoreboard definitely is.
Fnatic have done their warm-up on this map, right? Already played Fury earlier today. It was a nice and quick game for them. They're already ready to get into Cafe, right? They have their they're familiar with all the angles. They're nice and ready. You're not going into unfamiliar territory, not even like one that you remember from a scrim or one that's in your really in your playbook, but you haven't really played it today.
Yeah.
It's like Fnatic are on fire at the moment. They are really taking it to August.
Definitely going to need an extinguisher at this point. They have struggled. Map 2, Map 3 seems to be another just like the other, but Still, this is Fnatic still need to keep strong here, regardless of how good these rounds have been for them. You know, you think they've had 9 players left alive in the past 2 rounds. You don't want to get overconfident. You don't realistically want to give Auglis any way back into this. You need to keep shutting it out, dampening that fire.
That's a great point. Don't let Auglis springboard back into it. Keep that pressure up, going. I'll take this top floor. Long angles from Rizraz. Rizraz used to be the primary fragger for Fnatic, but he's moved away from that role more recently. Neophyter does find that opening pick is a big one for Neo. And Auglis do, in fact, springboard. The aggressive position from Diesel nets him 2 kills on the smoke that he knows and loves. Lurch is just going to try and pick at him 1 by 1. Neo's not going to let that happen.
That is so much better from Auglis. All 5 players contributing and just keeping that pressure to Fnatic, not really giving them a moment's rest. Looks like we might have a little bit of an issue with the taking the headsets off. That's never the greatest sign for us, but nevertheless, Auglis show a lot of aggression in that one. This time it pays off. But Diesel is just, I mean, I feel like every time Auglis needs someone to step up, we are looking to Diesel. You know, you think about the rounds, the impact that he has had on that smoke as a support, how much work he's really done for this team so far.
Yeah, he's a player who's not only contributing in the comms and, you know, the basic utility, but we have really seen him in this series step up, make those aggressive, explosive plays, because that's not characteristic of Auglis. Auglis aren't the team that we see typically going out there, jumping into the fray with a bang, doing, you know, a stupid play, quotation marks, something that you wouldn't usually do because someone's usually watching it. Take that high risk, high reward. That's what Fnatic have been doing better than Auglis so far, but Auglis are still accommodating that into their play style, and it's working out for them here.
Right after we're asking Auglis to step up, and but also for Fnatic not to let them back into it. Kind of just turns on a head.
Going 1 for 1 at the moment as well. Yep. But Auglis has only succeeded defending that same bomb site bar, so I'll retry reading. Really were carved up on this bomb site. Magnet got them to train. Not quite sure what happened there, but the top floor fell apart for Auglis. The bomb site fell apart for Auglis. But at the fundamental level, this bomb site can really revolve around piano and white hallway control, and that's exactly what Auglis did just then on the top floor.
Yep.
They won it right there at the choke points. You can translate that onto this bomb site.
You know what, let's keep our fingers crossed that Ethan doesn't go down early either, but this is Ethan going for a spawn pick?
Yeah, Lusty's would have spotted out on his drone as well. He was just looking for drones.
Yep.
Wow, he wasn't actually doing a spawn peek. He was faking a spawn peek and looking for drones to take out. Lusty's drone is, in fact, on that windowsill.
He can just fall back to side as well, so even Virtue might go ahead and do exactly that, try and track him out, but he'll just fall straight back to side as the pulse and just ensure that they get the info.
Well, Ethan was picked early in one of the previous rounds, isolated and taken down, so it's a big risk. Having his footprints right there, easily accessible for Fnatic. Auglis know how much Fnatic are playing this Jackal. See if he can stay alive just a bit longer. Fnatic being very thorough with their droning, though. They want to hunt anyone who's downstairs. They've been pretty good at doing that so far.
Yep. It's one thing that we were... not one thing. I keep saying it's one thing. There are multiple things, Dev.
One of the things.
A huge factor that we saw in the Fury Coastline match anyway is their ability of live droning and consistently keeping...
Oh, nice pre-fire through the wall from Ethan.
Oh, man. That's twice. Ethan's gone down as the pulse.
That's the power of the Jackal scans as well. Know the vague location, pre-fire at head level. Well played, Fnatic.
Nemo Rin's putting a little bit more emphasis, being a bit further up on the corner. It's going to be Diesel that shuts down Magnet, trying to go for a very similar play on the side. If Diesel falls there, that's pretty much a replica of the last round that we saw in that area. But look at the information that they're getting here with that Evil Eye.
Oh, perfect. Great job from Emo, finds that first kill, and you mentioned the Evil Eye, absolutely feeding the info right now. ADS also to back up. Virtue chewed up one of the smoke grenades, the ADS. Getting aggressive now. Diesel trying to use the holes from below. Great thing we caught that on cam. Good job, Sky and MC. Hobbs. 3 players left for Fnatic. They're getting a bit desperate here. August struggled in this bomb site the first time around, but they seem to be bouncing back. They've figured out what it is Fnatic are doing to take this top floor, and they're really putting up the heavy resistance.
Yeah, well, the second you see Emo Rin playing on that pixel angle with the already deployable shield, it makes it a little bit more difficult for Fnatic just to have the free piano control and push down into wide hallway. I think that was a huge factor into actually giving them just more control on that top floor. But look at this, getting a lot more aggressive now. A nicely timed smoke bait as they try to push on in a little bit deeper.
20 seconds left. Swift Fnatic need to turn up the heat. They don't have many avenues inside. Specker will open one though, and that may well net him a kill. Just looking to get aggressive. Virtue does find the one pick, but it's 3 versus 3 as Fnatic begin to collapse. August fight back, but anything's possible here.
Well, hang on a second. Rizraz has just walked out into the open. Rizraz with a complete oversight there, just sprinting for the diffuser. Not so much worried about the player that was already sitting anchoring on site. This is just small little details.
Yeah, so August were playing a mix of on-site and off-site because they can deny the plant from most places off-site there, or at least they're playing in dining, right, which is a different objective. They can hold on to anyone trying to enter the library doorway. So Fnatic, Rizraz in that desperate attempt must have assumed, look, there's got to be no one on site. I'm going to just rush in, grab that kit that Specker dropped down. Still, overall, what really made the difference that round was August's ability to hold top floor. Eventually, Fnatic gave up. They didn't actually pursue top floor control, which meant they couldn't use that vertical play to clear out library and go for that plant.
And again, this time when Magnet tries to sneak in on site, Diesel's prepared.
Yeah.
Even though Diesel took a huge chunk of damage, nearly dropped down.
Fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice.
That's for damn sure. Are we going to see an imitation of map number 2 here as August look pretty well set to take 4 rounds here? I mean, it depends on whether the kitchen wasn't too convincing, so up in the air at the moment.
Neither was Library, and August did make some reparations to their defense. Realistically, we've seen a lot of Cafe be defender side. I mean, we keep saying that. It's so dependent. But we have seen Cafe really swing to the defenders on occasion, and I can't help but feel that once Fnatic get onto their defense, they'll come into their own and start really giving August a rough time. So August needs to do everything they can to steal away this final round on their half. They haven't used their tactical timeout yet. Neither of Fnatic, mind you. So going into the second half, still have that little trap card to pull out late game.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Once again, Emo Rin just behind Cupcake. Hopefully for August it's a lot more successful this time. Diesel might have an opportunity to peek here. Fnatic are making sure that he cannot hold strong. It's a good opportunity to maybe get a bit of a gut shot in, but that's about it. Surely that won't be a confirmed kill, but he needs to be careful on the repeat here. There's one of those asphyxiation bolts already used on Capitao.
Doesn't have much ammo with this PCSG either. Can't afford to pre-fire too long. Emo Rin's angle cut off, which might allow Diesel, force Diesel to be exposed. Emo Rin's actually going to get turned on, and there's no answer at all for August. What is this? Fnatic just rush on in, perfectly timed, distracted by the front door. Rizraz and Lusty add to the pile. Diesel, Ethan decides to go above, but he's being tracked. That gives his position away. The Jackal doing so much for Virtue. Just 2 players left for August, and this is looking scary.
Yeah, Derp and Ethan, maybe a free kill to come through. Ethan trying to get lucky. Derp does have a very long line, but I don't really know whether they're going to be walking into it or not. He has to get a little bit more aggressive here. Needs to take a little bit more control back off Fnatic on those sites. There's a minute left, and with that diffuser going down, the pressure's realistically back on toward Fnatic.
No way!
Also,
he could deny it.
Oh, he's denied it as well. This is huge from Derp, but doesn't expect Virtue from behind. Ethan would have to go massive in a 1 versus 3. He's already found one. The opportunity's there. The diffuser is not set. Anything could happen.
Yeah, and there's so much time left, right? A minute to go. Ethan upstairs, so low, and he's being tracked as well. Specker gets that diffuser, plants it. Ethan just putting some leisure mines to prevent players from going into that position. He wants to clear out some of the key positions. He has so many goo mines right now. Trying to catch someone off inside of the freezer, and Virtue, what was that? Finishes off the last player from Orgless, and Fnatic close out that half, evened 3-3.
Yeah, so much attention was being put on right where Cupcake is directly out into toward Truck. There were two members putting just a small amount of pressure on. You know, we had the Capital out there using the early gadget, the early utility, but it's Lusty that comes in from the side with a double. Dirt gives the opportunity for Ethan to clutch that out, but I really think that that's nearly impossible for Ethan to win from there on in.
If Diesel or Emo had maybe done a little bit more damage to those players pushing them up the front, a frag or two, maybe that would have swung the other direction. It was an incredibly close attempt from Derp, in particular, Ethan as well. Still, they'll head on to the attack now. Fnatic really did excel on the attack. Yes, they only ended up 3-3, but they looked scary. I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of that Jackal. All the pushes, the refrags, the explosiveness that Rizraz and the other Fnatic players were engaging onto the bomb site. And basically anywhere that Orgless decided to invest themselves, Fnatic would find a way to deal with that.
Now, one of the big problems that's going to be glaringly obvious at this point is how heavily sided it is toward defense on Cafe so far from what we've seen in the Six Masters anyway. Anywhere between 60 to 70% for all of these bomb sites have been attempted by Orgless. So 3-3, is it really going to be enough to take this toward Fnatic now, who we have seen can double down on their defense, especially in Clubhouse? Can they replicate this here? Second half, the pressure's on.
I mean, Fnatic came out swinging earlier today right against Fury on Cafe. Not sure whether they were on defense or attack for those 6 rounds, but they were very, very good. Just going to head upstairs. I wonder, Orgless, were they watching that match? Like, is that worth watching? Is that something where they think they'll learn some of Fnatic's strategies?
I think that Monkey was kind of got on the money, because that was what I was thinking for a while, and then Monkey makes a good point. It was just a Virtue show. Like, yeah, you might have been able to understand their setup, so you might have been able to see certain angles they like to hold, but when Virtue's running around on Jaeger or, you know, just doing what Virtue does best, opening up all these rounds, just completely demolishing teams, that's what you have to expect. I think it was 14-1 in the end. That was the KD from Virtue, so I don't know how much they'd be able to realistically take away from that map, but
at the very least, you can take away some of the common spots that Virtue likes. Start to learn about that. Of course, it's important to shut down those big players, not get walked over. So Orgless, first step, take control of Piano. Establish yourself on the west side of the map. Diesel missed some Hibana pellets. That's one wasted. Hopefully these don't get denied in any way. No, he's safe. Trying to take control of Piano then. Thermite, of course, banned out by Orgless. So they'll have to deal solely with the Hibana. If they want any more hard, well, that's all the hard breach, right?
Yep.
You can't open this any kind of avenue onto the freezer itself, and that is a huge component of almost all attacks onto this site. I'm a bit confused. If you're going to ban out the Thermite, you really need to have something to utilize onto the bar backstore, or surely bring Maverick, right? If Thermite's banned, just something to start to penetrate those positions and expose the Fnatic anchors.
oh, jeez, Rizraz looking to get comfortable with that shotgun there. Is he really going to push there? No, finally droned out. He will back away. So that's realistically the only way they've got an entrance in. Ethan will find one. Specker, nice and quick. I feel like Speck has been trading so often this matchup, but look at Rizraz getting a bit antsy. Looking to go straight in toward Piano and take that fight up close and personal with the shotgun, and it might just work out. A treat, but it's timing. He backs away. 35 seconds left, Dev. They need to get a move on.
30 seconds to go for Orgless on this attack, and really not near enough progress made. Fnatic still holding fast. That freezer control working out for them. Rizraz finally cleaned up, but Lusty replies. Magnet jumps into it as well. Emarin needs to find this kill, and he does. 2 versus 2. Derp turns it into a 2v1. Specker needs to deny this plant. He has a C4. He even has a Valcam he can throw out. He can easily deny this plant, but he misses it with the deagle. And what a floor bang from Imorin.
What?
Who does that?
Imorin. That is so nasty to come through.
What was that? I mean, for one, Specker had a C4. He should have denied with the C4.
Was he unsure as
I
who
think
was
he,
planning?
Oh, I don't know, but he just used the deagle, and you can't aim directly upwards. You just, it just doesn't work. You can't do that. So he couldn't aim and kill the person directly above him. C4 would have been the safe bet. But I can't get over the fact that Imorin just straight on floors him back.
I know, that's ridiculous, right? Like, all you can all you can hear is the shots coming up, right? It wasn't really, I don't think it was penetrating through the floorboards. I think it was hitting the railings.
The deagle? Yeah, I think you might be right. It's difficult to tell where those railings are sometimes, but they do soak up the bullets. So, Orgless managed to take an attack, but that, I feel like, shouldn't have happened.
No.
I feel like that shouldn't have gone Orgless's way at all. It took them so long to actually take control, and it really ended up just being kill after kill on either side.
Yeah.
I'm watching this angle, so when they pick, and I mean, that's just a game of timings, right, and trades.
Yep. And when there was so little time left for the timings and the trades, it's a wonder that Fnatic weren't able to secure that on the defensive side. But look, we're back up top, we're back in Cocktail. This was successful on both attempts for Orgless, 2 of 2.
Yeah. It was the only bomb site they, oh no, they won Library, didn't they?
Yes.
At the end of it. This was definitely the best bomb site for them. Fnatic going to be using these electric claws, trying to hide it inside the wood. In Cigar makes it a bit more difficult to shoot from the window. Of course, we do have a Thatcher on Orgless, so I don't expect too much trouble here. Still no Maverick, so they just really think that Habano is enough. So fair enough. Maybe, we'll see. Specker goes for that run out, aggressive spawn peek. Doesn't find anything, but Virtue does. I think that was also downstairs, potentially a run out. And that's the Twitch gone. The main reason you'd want the Twitch would be to get rid of the Maestro cameras, maybe some key devices, but you got Thatcher for that.
Yeah, fair bit of electronical gadgets on the side of Fnatic, so a little bit upsetting that you don't have the Twitch to run around and drone out, but that's all right. Specker now rejoins Virtue, both players who were very happy to be aggressive downstairs, like you were saying earlier. Fnatic seem to have a better pick on what they want to do this time.
Ooh, a South Repel. A risky play for Orgless, that's dirt. It's a great way to counter that position that we see Rizraz playing, but there are so many ways you can run out. Specker does it, just jumps out of dining. He gets Derper. That's the Nomad off the board as well. No refrag onto Specker.
So Specker and Virtue both peeked that. Virtue peeked it from ground level, and Specker jumped out to peek that. So he's got 2 players to contest with, and like you were saying, it's dangerous. It's very dangerous to try and make that play. They are going to go for the opening on Piano Wall, but realistically, a 3 versus 5, this is not looking good at all for Orgless.
Evo doesn't have the info here. Very difficult angle to contest. Does have a long angle now all the way onto Cocktail Bar. Should be able to flush out players inside of Freezer. But one has gone all the way back to the back of the bar. Imorin does find the one on the rappel. No, that's not on the rappel. That was elsewhere from the toilet. Diesel as well jumping into the fray. I don't know how these picks are coming through, but it's going to allow an opening for Orgless to just rush on in.
God.
Player in the backstore taken out by Diesel. Orgless stepping on up as needed. Rizraz can get the diffuser down on the ground though, but Imorin has plenty of time and means to finish him off. It's a 1 versus 1 suddenly. Specker versus Neofighter.
Neo is actually going to pick up Diesel here. Specker was looking to get a little bit more aggressive in toward that bathroom, but instead holds off for a moment. They know exactly where he is. Diesel peeks into that. They've got a free chance to plan here. Realistically, 10 seconds left. There's plenty of time. The knife for himself. This could be everything right now. Oh my God, he got Theo and swings on the Diesel. How good is that? What a way to close out the round in a 1 versus 2. The game sense on this man, the brain is just so big.
Redeeming himself for his misplay and failed clutch previously, Specker turns it up when it's needed. Fnatic win their first defense on the back of that. Gotta say, there were a lot of things I liked from Fnatic on that defense. As you pointed out, Specker and Virtue peeking aggressively together to eliminate Derper on the windows. Great way to find a pick. Not to mention this clutch at the end of the day. I'm surprised it even got to this point. I don't know how Auglis managed to find 2 or 3 picks and then run onto site.
Because Amana just goes, you know what?
Diesel be eaten.
That's it. Diesel be Diesel. I guess, but that is a point, isn't it? Diesel has no problem with just running out on toward the site. It's the same on defense. When you see him and he gets, when Auglis start to lose a bit of ground, when they're starting to lose momentum, Diesel will just pick up the pace and go and find himself 1, maybe 2. And in that, look how much space it made. That Kaid gone left all of Freezer completely open.
Full site control taken at that point as well. Auglis somehow pull a rabbit out of the hat, but Fnatic got Specker to say something about that. So, time to defend reading room. Like we saw from Auglis quite a few times. Specker went for that aggressive run out from that Valkyrie camera previously. Auglis do have the IQ. It's also a very predictable spot for a cam, so I would like to think Auglis are going to look for that. I do like this open defense. Fnatic have opened up that A wall towards White Stairs from Dining. So they do have the ability to make those rotates and angles. Really turning both of the bomb sites into a kill box as much as possible. Of course, that can work against them. They try to stay safe in the bomb site, reducing the number of safe places there are on the map. And certainly no safe places for Derp. Round out, second round in a row. Good job to counter that Nomad as well from Virtue. Wow, no one's on New Hatch protecting that. Unfortunate for Auglis not to cover that one. It didn't have that control yet to punish the run out. Fnatic keep another player alive. Top floor is the first thing on the menu for Auglis to take control of, but Fnatic do still have a grasp.
Auglis taking their time trying to open things up here. Magnet's happy to sit on the side. We were talking about polar opposite kind of play styles from Magnet to Virtue. You see Magnet always anchoring on the side, always hard anchoring. Virtue, anything but, right?
Oh, yeah,
whatever he can get done on the roam, he will.
Virtue, go run around, go shoot some people. Spec has been helping out with that as well. Top floor control now for Auglis. No real contest. They haven't got any picks on it, but it's okay. What Fnatic chose to do was get out of there before the pressure came in. Auglis will now open up the floor, in all likelihood, start eliminating players on the middle floor. But Fnatic are trying to play evasive. Have a presence here early, move out of the way, not get picked off, and then when Auglis are short on time and funneling into the bomb site, that's when Fnatic counts. But Specker's got a little bit of a surprise for Emo nice and early. A C4 through the floor. Rizraz is also going to contest with the shotgun.
Gotta love that. Show the confidence, why not? Completely opening up that flooring. It's, you know, like we say, it's a double-edged sword. What a read from Specker. Swings onto Ethan. They are shutting Auglis down right now. 2 players remain, both Neo and Diesel. Diesel, who has been an absolute beast. But don't, again, it's one of these cases where it's nearly too far gone. A 2 versus 5. Neo starts off in the right way. If he takes down Rizraz there, maybe it's possible, but Neo Fighter does get taken down by Virtue in the end. And Fnatic definitely feeling a little bit of the pressure, but geez, they're happy. Well, actually, I take that back. Maybe not so much.
No pressure on Specker by the looks of it. He did turn it up in the last few rounds, and he wants to make it happen. In the Auglis camp, things are quiet for now, but they're not far behind, just the 1 round at the moment. And that's Fnatic's first successful defense on Library. They already struggled there on Bar. Man, that is I don't know, how many liters do you reckon that is of water?
I don't even want to know.
Yeah. Is it water? That's what I want to know.
Specker, maybe, maybe not. You never really know, do you?
Let's not ask the admins.
No, not at all.
That's the trophy. That's what these guys are playing for. It is bloody heavy.
Yeah, it really is. Me and Matt were out there before trying to lift it up, and it's definitely going to take more than 2 of them, that's for sure.
Maybe it's a bit like, you know, Arthur's sword. You can only lift it if you are, you know, the king.
Worthy?
Worthy.
I gotcha.
Or maybe it's a bit like Thor's hammer. Maybe that's more of an appropriate reference for the
possibly.
target audience. Let's go with that one. So, we are on the cusp of Fnatic stealing away this lead, but of course, they are in a position where they haven't yet nailed down 3 different bomb sites. You lose one site, sorry, you win one bomb site on defense, move over to the next. They lost on bar though.
It's definitely at a point for Fnatic where they can start to feel a little bit more confident. Hopefully. Hopefully. But
so what can we say for August now? Because they did win their first round of attack, right? Came out, it was the very close clutch, right?
Yep.
Shot through the floor. But Fnatic have looked good on all of their defenses. Defenses should look good on Cafe. August started that way, but had a bit of a struggle throughout their half as well. Is this back and forth? Is that what we can call it?
yeah, definitely. I think it depends on this round right now, right? Because I feel like if Fnatic can confirm this next round, they might start to run away with this because they will be able to go straight back to Cocktail if they win this next round, right? Well, they will be regardless, but I think August really need to put a gap between this round and where we go back to Cocktail because that's where we've seen the most success.
Yeah, I guess you look at it this way. If Fnatic win this next round, they're on match point, 6-4, and they get to go back to bar. I'm sure that's the position Fnatic want to be in right now. August need to, as you said, put some distance there. They need to get in the miles. Start keeping things close, because even one round is enough for Fnatic to break away.
Yep. It is that safety net right now, you know? It's currently, I believe it's 4-5 in favor of Fnatic, so you realistically, you have to think of it. Cocktail has seen almost 75%, I believe that's 75% success so far from both of these teams combined. So if we go to Cocktail again, we just, you know, mathematically speaking,
it should be a win for the defense, and that should be the end of this series and the championship.
If Fnatic confirm this next round.
They
so
do look like they have the advantage here.
Yep.
They look like they're running with the ball. We're in a technical pause at the moment, so the players can't talk to their coaches. But I'm sure their coaches are... That's Silex right there for August. I'm sure he's sitting there, got 1,000 things in his head, and he can't say one of them.
Yep, like a eyebrow raise. Why not? That's one thing that's going through his head.
Gotta have some fun with it.
You know, that's the thing. Both of these teams are spearheaded by an incredible mind on either side, Dizzle and Silex. I think that, you know, when you put these two teams together, this is exactly what you would expect to see. Just this scrap of a match.
There are so many parallels between Fnatic and August, but there are also two sides of a coin. There are so many juxtapositions between these teams. You're looking at Fnatic, one of the biggest esports organizations in the world, supporting this team, an Australian team who play here in ANZ and go out there globally. They have everything going for them and all the support they could possibly want behind them to take those victories. And August, what do they have behind them? 7 passionate people. That's what August is. And there's nothing else. No financial, no team house, no paid boot camp, nothing like that keeps them going. And yet both of these teams have been hacking it in the ANZ team for such a long time.
And there's a sweat of the brow at this point for August. And hopefully this could, again, you know, we were speaking about it before, for them to see what they want to see, it is very much results-based, both here and for international qualifiers. We need to see August coming into the top 2 every single time for the APAC, let alone the ANZ region.
And we've seen so many times it's Fnatic who goes to those global events. Every APAC finals event, Fnatic's been there. And almost all of them they've used to earn a spot at a global event. Now, August, they've only just started in the last year to get their foot in the door of APAC, and they still haven't made the next step.
You do feel it is coming though, don't you? After all we've seen.
The age of August has been, for a long time, seeming on the horizon, but we've never had it arrive. They defeated Fnatic in our national tournament last season, Oceanic Cup, but did that feel like a victory? I'm not sure. I think that what August need is to destroy Fnatic on this map if they want to establish themselves as the ANZ champions. But I don't think Fnatic's anywhere near letting that happen.
No, no. And we saw that in Map 2. It was a factor of, oh my god, August have turned up to play, but yet, what happens? Fnatic, not happy with that whatsoever. And I think much of a muchness in map number 3 here on Cafe. A scrap is a scrap.
Damn sure now. August taking this map control, of course, going downstairs to the kitchen. Fnatic. We saw how Fnatic defended this against Fury, right? That beautiful one-tap from Virtue. He loves playing Cupcake. That's that little front area in Bakery. August looking to go for map control. Take out these players from above by opening the floor. They've got so much soft destruct to make that happen. Nice little wallbang through the floor. Specker's shut down. I know Specker's got a lot of supporters here, and he's really made good for them in some of these previous rounds, but he's shut down now.
Oh, jeez. Neo Fighter should be able to win that. This is the exact position we saw Virtue in before, making it look easy with the one tap.
What a damn shot that was. How's Virtue allowed to do this? I have no clue what's happening, but August need to step it up because in that spot, it's all Virtue.
Now they're feeling a little bit more comfortable. 45 seconds remaining. Small little execute comes out to try and push Virtue out of position. It hasn't really worked all that well. They haven't been able to capitalize on it yet. Dev, 30 seconds. August, they need to start making their way toward that site.
The opportunity to break away for Fnatic, and Virtue's gotten aggressive here. Both Lusty as well. He'll take out one. Is he good for two? It's a small magazine, but he doesn't need much. Virtue's burnt alive, but Lusty's still here in Bakery and just waiting to receive. Ethan's going to go in with the pre-fire, almost gets him. The shotgun versus shotgun. Lusty wins those. It's a 1 versus 3 for Diesel. We're heading to match point and championship point here for Fnatic.
That's got to be almost game over at this point. That is a huge round for them to take, and so confidently as well on Kitchen. Now we head to what is presumably toward the top floor. We go back to Cocktail, one that's been 50-50 for Fnatic, but 75% overall. The rounds are looking pretty good and very much in favor. That from Ethan's just so nasty to take down Specker, but just so close, so personal.
We are so close to Fnatic becoming the 2-time Six Masters. And August don't want to have any of it, so they're going to take a tactical pause. Silex, what have you got? Because this is your last chance, August. Do you want this?
It's, you know, for Silex, he's been waiting for this tac pause, right? Doesn't want to use it too soon, but also doesn't want to leave it too late, and it is time. He's got the notes for these past 2 Cocktail holds. Now, one of them, well, actually, no, sorry, both of them were in a 1v2 with Specker. The first time, he tries to deny with the Deagle. The second time, denies perfectly with the C4, whoever was defusing, and then swings out with the MP5 to kill the second as well.
We've seen some great players both sides, but this tactical pause, do we feel this is going to swing the way of August?
After sitting here and crunching numbers and saying 75%, yada, 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 3 out of 4 have been won on that top floor.
Look, the stats tell us something, but I want to know, what do you feel, Rob?
I feel that August have got this, and we're going to go to quite literal full regulation, because how much success August have had in Cocktail, I can't see this realistically swinging too easily, I'll say, into the favor of Fnatic. It is still Fnatic. It has still been very close both times, but
Fnatic,
August, they do seem to have a good read on it.
Fnatic are on that 3-round streak, but Bar was where they first drew blood on defense. Auglis does have a decent attack here. I'm still worried about the way that they intend to take control of Bar Backstore and Freezer, because with the Thermite banned, there's a lot to be desired in terms of utility to flush out these positions. But Auglis have made me eat my words before. I have no doubt they're up for the challenge. And on match point, there's no better place to make it happen.
That's quite literally the calm before the storm, Dev, because this is on a knife's edge. Fnatic are quite literally one step. And you do believe that Auglis can make this work, but
not without a fight from Fnatic. We've seen how aggressive they play. On this defense, the communication is there. They always have that information. As soon as one player knows something, it goes out to the rest of the team. There is no delay. And Fnatic are ready to capitalize upon that. They're so in sync, especially with these runouts. But it's Auglis who have to make the moves here.
See you on the other side.
Diesel opens up one hole into Piano. Doesn't look like anyone from Fnatic wants to contest. They'll play instead in Bathroom. That's Rizraz. He could certainly put a stop to Auglis' push at that choke point. Auglis aren't even there yet.
Fnatic should be sitting decently comfortable with their what will be that five-man hole. Auglis trying to find a way back into this, trying to find the opening that might turn the tide.
It's a good angle for Derper upstairs as well, or on the roof rather. Above the skylight, can use his firebolt to flush out that position on Cocktail. Ibarine will choke a little bit on the gas, but he does expose these positions inside of Toilet, and Rizraz pushes back. Still 5 on 5. No team yet to draw blood.
Yeah, Magnet's waiting for that repel to come through. Really nice timing on those utility. Lusty shuts one. Oh, Specker takes down Neo. This is all falling apart for Auglis. Magnet shuts one down with the C4. They're inside. Emorin will find a trade. But in a 2 versus 4, this has to be it. It's all up to Derp. This could be done and dusted. He's spraying away into a 2 versus 1. But Fnatic prevail in such a close series, in such tight fashion. They come through massively when it's needed. And they are once again the champions of the ANZ region.
From a 7-1 loss on Consulate, Fnatic bounce back. And it takes all 3 maps, but they're gonna do it eventually, and they streak us all the way to a victory. Your 2-time Six Masters.
Fnatic. Such an incredible performance from them. They can soak it in. A lot of support from this crowd has gone in over the weekend, but you have to say that right now, this grand final, it's definitely been the peak of it.
We had so many questions coming into this tournament. Where is Fnatic right now? How will they perform after their disappointments in the past? But the question above all else is, which is the best team from Australia and New Zealand? I think we've answered that today.
Couldn't agree more with you, Dev. Such a tightly contested 3 days that we've seen. But there they are on stage, the champions. And we have Matt Andrews waiting on stage with your champions. Matt, take it away.
Thank you, Manic, so much. Thank you, Dev, so much. Monkey for taking us through Castle this weekend as well. We've got champions on the stage. You know what? We've never done this. I don't think you and I, this team and I, wherever we've been, anywhere in the world, I don't think we've had this opportunity. I'm thrilled to say, Fnatic are the champions of the Six Masters. Magnet and the guys, congratulations. Let us first, I think, and I know you guys will lead the way in this, in showing our appreciation for Auglis. Ladies and gentlemen, incredible teams throughout this whole tournament. Falling at the last hurdle, it's going to hurt so bad. An incredible team. Runners up here at the Six Masters. But you guys win it out, but they did not make that easy. And before that grand final, after your performance in the semi-final, was it a surprise how tough it was?
Definitely Consulate was a surprise of how tough it was. It was their map pick though. We definitely found our stride after that and it showed, but they played really well. But at the end of the day, we stuck to our game plan and it worked, so yeah.
And this is a new game plan. We've explored this quite a lot this week, and I've chatted with you behind the scenes. We've talked about it on the desk as well. This new, like, you're going to step up and do these things. He's going to do these things. That man's going to bring his tash and his skills and drop some people and make it work. It's worked out really well, but it's a very different day to yesterday.
Definitely was, especially game one. We all came out firing, which is good. Obviously another slow start on Consulate, but hey, we actually usually do slow starts, so we like to bring it home strong.
There must have been times in this, though, when you thought, all right, we can bring it back. We take it to a third map, and then, oh. Did it ever feel like it was slipping too far away?
Not really. As soon as we had that first Cafe round, we were very confident that we were going to beat them on Cafe. So, no, I didn't think we were going to lose on the third map at all.
Okay. Lusty, same for you, since I've got you here, and I don't get a chance to talk to you very often. Lusty, any words you want to say to the support that you've been given here?
Thank you so much, guys, for supporting us. All the cheers. Thank you very much.
I'm enjoying this moment to get a chance to speak with you guys on stages, because we do winners interviews, but we don't, and we never have anywhere we've been in the world. I've never had a chance to say, you get to do this now. Ladies and gentlemen, they've done it. They are the best team in ANZ. They are your Six Masters champions. We first greet them with medals to be presented by Shane Bailey, ladies and gentlemen, the esports and brand manager of Ubisoft Australia. Congratulations to Rizraz, Specker, Virtue, Dizzle, their coach, of course, Lusty, and Magnet. Ladies and gentlemen, your champions, the Six Masters 2019, Fnatic!